Okay, so hello everyone, this is Yash, and I'm a UX engineer as well as I really love to make these stunning CSS stuff. And I was looking at this particular Instagram feature, and we can just play it, just dive right into it. And these are really nice wobbly effect art that comes out when you make a double click, like a double click event in JavaScript onto anywhere in the post. It just takes those coordinates and just uses it to make this kind of wobbly effect just happens wherever you touch it. So the very first thing that I just came into my mind is like we can do this with pure CSS, and let's just try to do that. So the one thing that we always like try to do is to see in this make a gif and just try to see the different kind of hearts that are involved here. So the one that we have here has these gradients. Now because this is a gif, the smoothness of that heart is lost and we are able to see the different colors. That's nice. We can use this to make our uh, gradient in CSS. We can just define these colors and we can just say uh, to right if you want left to right, or we can just say to down to make it from up to down, something like that. And you can just see that this animates in a way that it just wobbles left and right, and that's like a really nice effect. And then it disappears. Sometimes it disappears in a suddenly, or sometimes it just shrinks back. And what I saw is that actually it is just shrinking back, and it has this transform origin which is set right at where the bottom baseline is. So let's just keep moving this, and you can just see this is making this kind of very nice small wobble effects that exists here. And this one also is doing the same thing. We have this wobbliness, and then you can just see it is going up as well as it is shrinking in size. So maybe there would be a time. Also, this is like a pink colored heart, there is a purple variant, there is an orange variant. So we have these kind of like three different, and they are increasing and decreasing in size. So yeah, let's without further ado, let's try to see like firstly how we can design it. So I'm going to open Figma here, and here I have it. So you can just Google Instagram heart icon to get the SVG, but we are not even interested in the SVG. We are interested in this path, and there is a path property in CSS where we can just make a div, which is like a kind of a CSS box into this particular shape, a heart shape, by using the path which is inside this SVG. So if I were to export this and check the code that it has, it will have some kind of a code, and I'm just going to do that. So I think that I already have somewhere the SVG, and I'm just going to open that in a notebook or something like that. So yeah, here I have it. I'm just going to open it with text edit here. And okay, so here we can see. Okay, so this is the kind of an SVG that it looks, and it has this D attribute which has this path. I've already copied the path value here, and I'm just going to move to Codepen to show you like how does that look like, or how does that make a div look appear like. So I'm just going to open Codepen and let's see. And I have a couple of examples here which would be to show how we can make these hearts, and I'm just going to comment out everything for now. So we have these three div elements. It says orange heart, there's a pink heart, and there's a purple heart. There are three classes. These orange, pink, and purple are just to give the different kind of variables that exist here. So I'm just going to first comment out the root element, going to comment everything and just uncomment this part. It says the size would be like 512 pixel, which is like the bigger size of the heart. We have like in Figma we showed two kind of examples. This was the 124 and this was like the 512 width. And we actually by saying this and using it, applying it to a div with its inline and blocks, which is like the height and width, we are getting a box of 512 by 512 pixel. And then we use the SVG path to the clip path, and this particular thing is what we actually grab from our Figma. So this is one of the cool things that it has. And let me just comment it out, and let me just comment this background part. So what we are saying here is that we have defined the size. We have defined these three colors which are like gradient colors to top right. We are moving left to right here, just to, and just using these colors to just match whatever we saw on there. We could have just gone to bottom, or to different alignments or directions. So I have this tool called Pokédex gradients color creator. So what we can see here is I can actually define, yeah, I want to go from this orange to this yellow, and then maybe I can just say that, hey, I want, but there is also a direction part that I want to make sure. So I can just say to right bottom or something like that. So it says to right bottom, and then it goes from here to here, something like that. So we can define multiple colors in between and just play with it and try to see. So I just use the colors that were originally there and try to replicate it close enough. Just wanted to like show that, yeah, this is possible via CSS. That was the motive. Pointer events, none, because we do not want these hearts that are coming out of a post to be clickable. The original post should be having the click events, and there should be just be a aesthetic point of view. And currently, because these are not interactive, so I do not have them as buttons. These are just divs, because these are like, they do not carry any semantic meaning. These are just visual attractive elements, like in this example that we have here. So we have this inline and block size, we have a display so that all of them can appear in inline block and one next to each other. And then we define the background, which is like the background image to all the gradients that exist here. So yeah, this is just one class of CSS saying, yeah, this is your size and all that, and then using it to define your background color. Let's move on. So we know that making these hearts is possible. So what's the next thing that we should plan on? Making the wobble effect, right? So here I have an example. This wobble effect is slower, and it's slower because I wanted to make it more understandable. And let me just comment out everything. So we have just the orange heart part, so just one of the three different kind of hearts that we showed there. And then I'm just saying, hey, the size is 124 because I want it to be of the lesser size. And then I'm using the gradient, which is the property that I previously used. And then we have this new property called linear. So I'm just going to show what is linear. So it is a newer property that exists, which is like the linear function, not the linear as in the, yeah, this one. So we have this linear function, which is baseline 2023. This allows us those springy kind of motions that exist on those Instagram heart, the video that I played at the very beginning. So what we can do from here is that we know the springiness, and I have just made this springiness using a tool. So if I just go back to the MD and web docs, which is like a really great source, and I just go to this Jake example, then I can just configure different variety of how do I want, what duration do I want, and how do I want this spring index to exist. And this actually depends on the time, duration, and all the other factors that you want your wobbliness of the heart to have. So yeah, we have the spring easing, we have the color, we have the size, and we have the duration, which is like 5 seconds, so that it's like more visible. And then we have the background. Orange is getting this background color. So if I give it this color, nothing would happen because I also have to give it the size, like the inline and block size or the height and width. So let me just comment from here, and this would allow me to have this heart property, which is like, hey, absolutely position it at the middle, maybe not at the middle, but a bit bottom, because I have not done translate -50%, -50%, something like that. I have just done inset inline style block size, so it is a bit down from here, but it will move up. So that's why it is like this. And then we have pointer events none, as I explained previously, and we have the sizes, and we have the clip path to make it like a heart shape. And then we have this interesting property called wobble, and this is the heart and core of this whole CSS thing that I wanted to show, like, yeah, this is possible in CSS, oh my god. So we have this scale that goes from 0 to 1, so it scales at the start, and then it wobbles to the right and to the left, and it translates a bit up, which is like just translation in the Y. And then it is just wobbling here and there. We could have used some kind of transition, could have just loaded a less on the animation part, but yeah, it works, so it's nice. And just wanted to have it like more something that's easier to read and understand. And then we have this rotation and the translation happening, and finally it goes to a smaller size. And just because this uses this kind of springiness, it is because we are seeing this kind of a backward shift and some wobbly effect. If we had not done the spring easing, maybe we have done something like linear or ease or something like that, we would have seen a very different kind of animation. And let me just show you what I mean is, like, why is this making a difference. So you can see there is no springiness here, and that's like the whole uh, property is lost, the whole effect that Instagram provided was lost. So yeah, this is the example. Take a look, play with it, maybe speed up the animation, change the linear easing a bit, and you would be done. And this would be the complete example. The other thing would be, you can actually make a card here, and you can add click event, so you can use listen to dbl click or double click in JavaScript, and then whenever a double click is triggered, you can just get the x and y coordinate or the e dot target wherever that coordinate is, the client with height x or y, and then using that you can just make sure that yeah, this actually has the position absolute, but this starts on the inside line block from where the start of the card is, or where the origin or x or y of the card is. So you can make it position where you want to, and you can make it speed it up and have a very faster wobbliness effect. But yeah, that was the example. I hope that it uh, like makes you think that yeah, what are the possibilities with CSS, because a lot is possible now. And with just use, I would just say that just use these properties, just use the springing action, just use linear, and that would be all that I wanted to convey here. So yeah, pretty exciting things, and I would say that just keep coding, making these stunning UIs. I also have some bit of personal updates. Maybe in the next one I will be talking about them as well. So yeah, have a very great day ahead. See ya everyone. Have a very nice day. Bye.